Hello. It's been a few weeks to a month since the last Battles update, so as expected an update is around the corner, hooray. Not 4.4 though, Ninja Kiwi has this labeled as 4.3.1 presumably because it's a small patch. So far they've just listed balance changes on their Facebook page which I'll go over real soon, so that might just be all there is to the update unless we see if they add anything else once it actually comes out. I presume there will be some new dank skins as well, assuming the first 4 sold well. Anyways, let's take a look at the upcoming balance changes, shall we? First off, we have the inevitable Cobra Nerf, but anti-Cobra player or not, this isn't gonna change a damn thing alone. What is $50 to a second tier upgrade really? If my math is done properly, then for every 27 Cobras you build on patch 4.3, you'll only be able to place 26 on 4.3.1. But no one ever gets that many adjustment Cobras, so 10 sounds like a reasonable amount, yet a $500 price hike overall is pretty much nothing in the grand scheme of things. Plus you'd never get them till about round 16 anyway, so you're still going to be able to mass that spicy 1k eco before price changes make a difference. As for the Misdirection Nerf, same story, you won't get them until the point where you have enough eco that $250 doesn't really matter. So another super safe nerf that changes almost nothing. What's new? Dartling Gun. Minus 100 off the base price as well as plus 1 pierce for the first tier right hand side upgrade. Good to hear the Dartling Gun guts and buffs, because believe it or not I suggested some Dartling Gun changes and sent them to Ninja Kiwi a while back. However, the suggestions were much different from what is shown here. For reference, here is what I sent to Ninja Kiwi. 6 price decreases on 6 different upgrades that would at least make Dartling Gun a not so useless tower anymore, but not too strong that it would break the meta. At least that's what my theoretical thinking led me to believe. I did go a little aggressive on these changes cause I was aware Ninja Kiwi would probably play it safe and go for a middle ground as always. But as you can see, Ninja Kiwi really only used one of these changes, and it wasn't even the same. Instead of a reasonable 700 price tag for a shitty one popping power tower, 850 is what we end up with. That'll sure make a difference. Now the pierce increase could actually be better than what it looks like, but the thing is right now, nobody brings the Dartling Gun to abuse the second tier upgrades. They're in it for the late game prowess and the laser cannon, rocket pods and Ray of Doom, which is currently overpriced as hell and not worth it for the power it gives. That's why either needs a damn price buff, and I don't think these lower level Dartling Gun buffs planned are going to be anywhere near enough to offset the prices for the third tier and up upgrades. The Monkey Ace. Deja vu anyone? Ground 0 damage from 350 to 400 sounds awfully familiar, Capra. If you're out of the loop, Ninja done goofed and forgot to input the damage change in 4.3, so they're just listing it out again this time. Also, $50 off the spy plane doesn't do anything but make the Operation Dartstorm and Ground 0 $50 cheaper, so whatever I guess. Moving on to the village, holy moly, Ninja Kiwi finally went all out on some buffs. Well, and nerfs too, which is actually very unfortunate. That's right, 04 call to arms not stacking anymore means exactly what you think it means. No more spamming multiple abilities on that shit to make hypersonic sentry guns, spike factories, and other towers to break the game. Feels freaking bad. Ninja Kiwi presumably fixed it because it was considered a glitch, but I think it being a viable eco strategy in classic battles as well as allowing you to get to insane late game rounds with the spike factory was just as big of a reason for them to axe the hypersonic towers altogether, despite how cool they looked. So this means one last goodbye. Thank you hypersonic towers for all the good memories we had together, the laughs we shared, the insane records we broke, and the mad views you helped me get. You damn well better be tearing up right now because this is the end of an era. Shame it really only lasted for a few months. Cut the music. Well, on the bright side, significant village buffs may still keep the tower viable in certain loadouts, namely the village boomerang and Cobra strategy, which may have become even stronger with these price drops. That's assuming they didn't fix the boomerang plus monkey fort glitch in this patch, cause I hear that's been on their radar for a while. So yeah, minus 550 cost for a 0-1 village is nothing to scoff at. Only time and practice will tell whether new strategies involving the village will come into fruition, but one thing's for sure is that more people will appreciate this as a fourth tower. Next up, the mortar. Definitely overbuffed in the 4.1 update or whatever number it was, and they're trying to bring it back down to earth this patch by targeting the big one with a $1,500 price hike, which is quite a lot of money. But remember, most people only get this past round 20 or whenever they are faced with a massive rush, in which case $8,000 to completely eviscerate an entire rush was a little too cheap, lol. Personally, me and a few others suggested a price hike to the artillery battery too, but they are nowhere to be found, interestingly enough. Alright, a couple more to go. Tack shooter, blade shooter Pierce increased from 2 to 3. Since nobody really uses the tack shooter in a 3-tower loadout, I don't think this is gonna change anything, but I could see some extra use out of it as a 4th tower for some cheap popping power in the early game. That is all. What is next? The Heli Pilot. Hooray, good to see this tower here, seeing as the previous round of Heli Pilot buffs were pretty useless. Oh wait. Joke's on everyone. Cause this is actually a nerf if you read this properly. Basically, the ability goes on cooldown the moment you click on it rather than after you choose to swap towers, meaning the cooldown is now a few seconds longer depending on how fast or slow you are. Obviously this means almost nothing, but it's still a nerf nonetheless, which is pretty hilarious to hear when you can say with accuracy that a shitty tower gets a nerf. Geez, Ninja Kiwi, at least give some compensation buffs or something. Anyways, last tower on this list is the Engineer, and guess what? It gets the same bug fix / mini nerf to its ability. Move along, boys. That's it for the Facebook post and the balance changes for 4.3.1. Again, there's probably going to be more to this patch that isn't balance related, but we will have to wait and see until the moment of its release, which is probably this week. So I've given all my input, it's now your turn to give me your thoughts on these changes down below in the comments. Based on the discussion I've seen on various posts and whatnot, a lot of people do agree that the nerfs are insignificant, but they also pointed out that even though the Cobra got nerfed, it's still somewhat of a buff because its main counter in the mortar got a nerf to the big one, so basically both price hikes cancel each other out, lol. It's only a buff versus mortars though. Dart farm strategies got a wee bit stronger versus both Ninja Mortar and Cobra, but I say wee bit because it's exactly that. Speaking of dart farm, why the fuck are people still asking for dart monkey buffs? You can still win perfectly fine with darts, and there's like 10 other towers that are way weaker that could use some buffs instead. Yet I still see comments about that shit. Seriously, it's been a number 1 go-to tower for over 2 years, and the moment it drops to number 3, 4 or 5 people are instantly asking for it to be bumped up again as if it's the only tower in the game that requires OP skills and should be the only viable strategy to be used in competitive games. Sorry for going off, but some things just don't make sense in this community. Speaking of things that don't make sense, I know fidget spinners were widely hated upon, but I didn't know they were hated this much based on all that cancer I contracted from the comments section. Worst comment section I've seen since the 5 worst abilities one. And that goes without saying, don't hate the player, hate the game, or in this case the fidget spinners. I mean shit. What else do you expect me to make videos of? Random arena high games 100 times over. Who do you think I am? Shaft or Chris or something? No shots intended. Just saying, there's only so much you can do before it gets so damn repetitive. So I actually admire their dedication to playing and recording arenas day in and day out. Anyways, this commentary is dragging out too long, time to end it. I'll make sure to get another video out on the update if necessary, otherwise look forward to whatever random shit I can think of off the top of my head, so sub if you want to catch it. Have a patchy day.